Hello, welcome to another edition of 365 Days of Public Speaking. My name is Lanoya Mentu. Today we're going to look at how public speaking can help you for your next interview. Or in other words, what are the skills that you might get from public speaking or that you might acquire from public speaking that are going to be beneficial to yourself or for an interview. Now, the interview could be for a job, it could be an interview panel during an event, or it could be any other type of situation where you are asked questions and you have to respond sometimes with little to no preparation. Here are the 3 skills you can get from public speaking that will help you for interview. Number 1, active listening. Now, if you are learning how to speak in public, you're going to have to learn how to listen actively, because communication is making sure that you clarify what your message is and you ensure that the audience or the recipient gets the message and understands it how you intended it to be understood. In other words, when you are communicating with someone or when you are answering questions, for example, you want to make sure that the message comes across clearly, and when the other person is speaking to you, you want to make sure that you understand clearly what the person intends to communicate over to you. One thing I do to make sure that I listen actively is to ask clarifying questions. If, for example, you ask, what do you think about the involvement of America in World War II? I would say, for example, can you give me an example? Again, that is a question that you might not expect, or if you don't have enough knowledge on the subject, you might find yourself having a challenge with. But the key is to ask clarifying question. Do you mean, I was about to say, do you mean the first or the second World War II? But there's only one World War II. But I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Ask clarifying question to make sure that you understand what is asked of you, so that you don't give the right answer to the wrong question. Number 2, in terms of the skills in public speaking that can help you for your interview, is prepare for the worst case scenarios. Now, it's good to be ready to answer any question that you might not have thought of. And the first example was the question I asked earlier is a very good example. Ask yourself the question, if someone asks me something, or if I'm thrown a question and I really have no idea how to answer the question, what can I say, or what are my options? How can I handle myself? How can I handle the situation? If, for example, someone asks you, hey, I can see that you've worked for corporation XYZ for X number of years, and you highlighted the fact that you were in charge of a department of 20 people, or that you work with XYZ supervisor. What do you think was the impact of you working in that department so far as your contribution to this new job you're applying for? Now, you might not have envisioned that they could ask such a question, but that's really where the value of rehearsing comes in. If you have an important interview session, you might want to make time to rehearse for it and anticipate all the worst case scenarios. What are the worst possible questions that could be thrown to you, and how would you respond? How would you handle the situation? That was number 2. Number 3, study the masters. Now, in terms of preparing for interviews, what I could suggest is you go online, especially the TED Talks. TED Talks, they also have some sessions or some talks that they do in forms of interview. Now, if you want to look at how masters do it, because for someone to be interviewed on a TED stage, it means the person has some experience either in the field of expertise or in communicating his or her ideas effectively. You want to go online and research interviews of people, maybe celebrities or people who are very good at their crafts, and you're going to see how they handle themselves, how they carry themselves with confidence, and they exude the knowledge that they're sharing. Their attitude, their behavior reflects all of that they have to offer and bring to the table. When you have an interview, when you face a situation where you'll be asked questions, that's what you want to do. You want to exude that. Study the masters, see how they carry themselves, and when that time comes for yourself, make sure you emulate those traits, those characteristics. Again, public speaking for your next interview. What are some of the skills that apply to public speaking that you can translate and use for your next interview? Number 1, active listening. Listen to make sure that you understand what the person is asking of you before you try to respond, and don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions. Number 2, prepare for the worst case scenarios. If you are thrown a question that you had no idea you could have, what do you think, or how do you think you're going to respond? Prepare something to that extent. Number 3, study the masters and the TED website where they have interview sessions with masters of their crafts or celebrities is a good place to watch and observe. That's about it for today's video. Like and share if you found it valuable, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep the videos coming. Thank you.